door. No one's gone anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see
You okay, Jack?
is profoundly disturbing and shocking.
You get out there, Mr. Midnight. Did you knock him dead?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 horror film Late Night with the Devil. The film is co-directed and co-written by Cameron Cairns and Colin Cairns, and it stars David Dastmalchian, Laura Gordon, Ian Bliss, Ingrid Torelli and Rhys Ortera. Right, the film is set in the 1970s and it focuses on a late-night talk show host called Jack Delroy. Now, this late-night host, he runs this late-night show that is... It kind of takes him to the cusp of real superstardom in his field, but he can't just get his ratings high enough to kind of push him to the next level. He gets there close a few times, but he just can't get there, basically. He has a bit of a fall. He loses his wife to cancer. And then he kind of makes a comeback out of nowhere. But still, he can't push his ratings high enough. And then this one Halloween night, he hosts a Halloween show where he brings guests on. He brings a skeptic. He brings a psychic. And he brings someone who claims she can talk with the devil, a young girl who is possessed. So he decides to expose this live on national TV, and it doesn't go according to plan. Right, what are my thoughts on Late Night with the Devil? Well, this is going to be a Shudder exclusive. I've got an early screening for this before it's released on Shudder, which I'm very, very pleased for. I've been actually looking forward to seeing this. I saw the trailer for this a good few weeks ago, and I thought it looked really quite unique and original, and it really stood out as something that possibly could be very, very captivating and interesting, and I'm happy to report that that is exactly the case. What we have here is a very, very interesting and original take on possession for a start, possession movies, but it's got a real thread of dark humour running through it as well. That it quite uncomfortable at times in the way that the kind of the humour is displayed, and it's done in two kind of styles really. They kind of sell it almost like as found footage at the beginning, by saying, oh, here is like the unfiltered live broadcast as well as some behind the scenes stuff that was filmed. So it kind of feels a bit found footage, like a live TV broadcast thing, and then you've got almost like got a documentary style going along with it as well. And it's got a real authentic vibe and feel to it. It looks like it's straight from the 70s. This, the set design is superb. The fashions, everything. They've just completely nailed it. And from frame one in this film, you're completely captivated because it starts telling the story of this character Jack Delroy and his rise to fame, and then his fall and his pitfalls and all this kind of stuff, and his comeback. And so you really feel like you've been on a journey with this character before the film really starts and this live broadcast begins. And it's done so well in a sense of it's initially, it feels like a Halloween show. It's full of charm, but guests are completely hamming it up. They've got this psychic on who he feels about as believable as Superman, you know what I mean, as most psychics do. And the skeptic that he brings on absolutely roasts him, and he roasts all the guests, this skeptic, and he believes he can disprove everything. And he's got like a check for I think it's $500,000 if anyone can prove the paranormal exists and stuff. So it feels cheesy and hammy. He's got the co-host on the side, like most late night talk show hosts have in America, and it just plays exactly like a late night show would have done in the 70s, and then it kind of crosses over to like this real scarefest, when all these creepy stuff starts happening. And I mean really creepy stuff that just freaks you out when you're watching it, the possession type stuff. And then it just continues to escalate and escalate and escalate to the point where, there's just this explosion at the end of complete weirdness, I suppose you could argue. But it almost hypnotizes you, which is interesting because there are a couple of scenes in the film where, guests are actually being hypnotized, or so to speak, anyway. And it's got some really great performances here. I mean, the one that absolutely jumps out at the screen at you is David Dastmalchian, who you may recognise. He's done a lot of films. He's developed into, I think, a really fine character actor. He's one of those actors that generally you don't see, headlining movies, but you'll see him as the 10th person down in the cast list doing a banging job. First time I remember seeing him was in The Dark Knight, but he's worked steadily and consistently since then. And he's a fine actor, and he's absolutely brilliant here as well. It also reminded me, and maybe you guys in America watching this or somewhere else in the world might not know this, but I think it was like the mid 80s, maybe the late 80s, there was something that came on UK TV called Ghostwatch. And you can actually get it on DVD. I'm not sure about Blu-ray, but I know you can get it on DVD because I've got it. And it was like a live broadcast around Halloween time, and it was the BBC that did it, I believe. And it had like reputable hosts on there, that we all knew and respected. And then this really creepy stuff started happening on this show called Ghostwatch. And it was all set up, it was all a hoax, but I remember watching it as probably a young teenager being just really freaked out by it, very, very scared. And this reminded me of Ghostwatch in a lot of ways. So I was quite impressed with this. I know some people like to criticise Shudder sometimes for the quality of some of the movies that they kind of stick their label on. Well, this is right up there in my opinion with one of the best that I think you're going to find on Shudder when it's released on their streaming service. Highly watchable, really entertaining, genuinely frightening at times, an uncomfortable layer of humour, dark humour running through it, and poses some interesting questions as well. And I just thought it was captivating, interesting, and very, very enjoyable indeed. So it's a strong recommendation from me for Late Night with the Devil. Really weird, really engrossing, really enjoyable, and feels very authentic as well. So you can't really ask more than that, really. Check it out. If you're a horror fan, you're going to love it, I'm sure. So yeah, that's a big thumbs up from me. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.